Greetings, everyone. My name is Davina Liggins, and I'm with Healing Made Whole. And today I wanted to come to talk to you about the critical state of the health status of our children. So, in particular, there was a case back in 2015 of the youngest case of type 2 diabetes. And this was with a diagnosis in a young girl who was 3 years old, and she weighed 77 pounds. And her diet primarily consisted of processed food, including sugary drinks and fast food. So, typically we think of type 2 diabetes as it takes years for it to manifest and to come about as a full on diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. But in this case, it happened very quickly. It's a very accelerated disease progression. And luckily and gratefully, that family was able to make the dietary changes, and within 2 years, she no longer had type 2 diabetes. So, what I would like to say to families, that the impact of this processed food on our kids is very serious. It's very prevalent. Our kids in general are getting diagnosed with a lot of adult diseases, including type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, obesity. These things normally don't happen in our children. So, and we know with these diseases come with a lot of suffering, like heart attack, other cardiovascular diseases and issues like stroke, kidney failure, blindness, tingling and numbness in the feet. So we have to be very careful with all of this developing within our kids at such a young age. So I would just like to offer some support and some encouragement to parents and to caretakers of our children. And number one, if I could say to encourage you to just make the change. Just make the change, have a conversation with your child and say, hey, we're going to make some changes, and just start exploring with your child some healthy options, food options, and go slow, because they may experience some withdrawal symptoms when you try to abruptly remove those foods, because we know that oftentimes there are food addictions to these processed foods. So go slow, but definitely move through the process. And that would be a great opportunity for education and teaching your child about how powerful food is and making the body healthy and strong for them. Point number two is to bring the village along with you. That includes grandma, their aunts, their cousins, their uncles, the school teachers, their daycare providers, coaches, the whole gamut. Everybody who has anything to do with your child's life, they should be informed that, hey, as a family, we are making some serious changes in their diet, and I want you to be on board with that process. And even there, when you're dealing with adults and explaining to them, you may have to provide some education, because some people may say, oh, that's so extreme. Is all that necessary? Well, yes, it is. And you just take the time to explain it to them. And they don't have to agree with it for their own life, but they should definitely support you in creating a healthy lifestyle for your child. Point number three is to be prepared. So if your child is going to like a sleepover or to grandma's house for the weekend, and you're not certain that the food that is going to be provided there is going to be healthy or food that you approve of for your child, then just make sure you provide all the breakfast, the dinner, and the lunch for your children. That's a lot to take on, but it's well worth it, because we still want our children to be social and interactive, but we want to make sure that they still are eating healthy in those environments. And the fourth point that I have is that, you don't have to go at this alone. There are other parents out there who want to create a better environment in terms of what their children eat as well. So join forces with other parents with managers at daycare centers, teachers, and say, hey, can we collectively come together and provide and give our children better food? And you'll be surprised that some people, if not all, will jump aboard because we all see the value in this. For the first time in this country's history, the life expectancy has gone down. There are reasons for that. And we want to protect our future generations. So hopefully this is helpful to someone. Excuse me. Please take good care, or be encouraged to move forward and stay strong in your efforts. All right, take good care.